Hamsho coming out of the near corner, while Marvin Hagler, the champion, comes out of the far corner, comes out with a stinging right hand. Al Bernstein, there's one thing about Hamsho. If you just looked at that record, 32-1-1, a most impressive record to say the least, but I don't think Marvin Hagler was worried about that.
Well, Hamsho, the best of the lot probably among middleweights to take on Marvin Hagler, but there may be a talent gap between that whole pack and Marvin Hagler. He is head and shoulders the best middleweight at this point, and good right hooking. Both fighters are landing the right hook well. Both two southpaws, rare that you see two southpaws in against each other, and they're both able to land the right hook, but Hagler is having more effect with his.
One of the fine heavyweights in the country, Larry Holmes, looking on at ringside as these two middleweights do battle here at the horizon. Hagler again, always ever present, dancing away. Hamsho, of course, just trying to stalk him around the ring, and Hagler just picking his punches now. Good straight right. Doesn't seem to be loading up for the left. He's kind of content just to use that jab at the moment.
Hagler showing us the good foot movement to get away from Hamsho and then land his combinations and get out. This is exactly the way Marvin Hagler wants to fight this fight.
It seems like, Al, from almost fight to fight, Marvin Hagler picks up even more and more skill, and many people are wondering, can this man be beaten in the middleweight division?
I think at this point, in against the #1 contender, Hagler looks so invincible. And you have to remember that Hamsho, while he's taking a pounding here, has beaten some very good middleweights to get here, and he's a very strong fighter. There's a good left hand, and Hagler says, didn't hurt.
So the war of whips continuing now, as Marvin Hagler and Hamsho mix it up here, round number 5. Good left over the top by Hamsho, trying to slip in over the guard of Hagler.
Hagler's doubling up with the right hook, and he has found he can land that punch.
There's a right hand. And that time Hamsho just kind of stuck his tongue out at him. Said that one didn't hurt. So the war of wits continues.
A lot of gamesmanship going on, but unfortunately for Hamsho, it's Hagler landing all the punches.
30 seconds to go to the end of round 5. Marvin Hagler's already enjoyed 43 knockouts in his 56 pro fights. 19 knockouts by Hamsho in his 34 fights. Straight right hand by Hagler continues to slip in. Hamsho throwing a wild right of his own as we come to the end of round number 5 of this middleweight fight in Chicago. Marvin Hagler, Mustafa Hamsho get ready for round number 6. Middleweight title fight with Hagler, the champion, Mustafa, of course, the challenger, #1. And Marvin Hagler kind of settling into a groove now, it looks like, Al.
Well, he is able to land his jab when he wants, the right hook that he just landed. Hamsho has not been able to get through that jab and get inside and work the body and head of Hagler. Good right hook again by Hamsho. That's been the one punch he's been able to land, but Marvin been able to take that.
I recall that the cuts that were almost of devastating consequence back in the 4th round seemed to be well under control by the corner people of Hamsho, at least through round 5, and now here in round 6 they don't seem to be getting any worse.
Well, Al Braverman, one of the true characters in boxing, is also a good cut man, and he's been working on those cuts, trying to keep them under control. And with Hamsho, that's always an important thing because he does bleed a lot. The jabs of Hagler, and wow, it's like a jackhammer. I mean, that jab just keeps coming in.
And many people, of course, always look at that and they say, well, how much steam can that jab have? In this particular instance with Hagler, it can have some muster on it.
He's got a very strong jab.
Nearing the halfway point of round 6, as you can hear the crowd starts to get a little more into it, as Hamsho mixes it up with Hagler near the ropes on the near side.
Coming into this fight, Hagler very concerned about the infighting of Hamsho, the tactics. Hamsho is known as a fighter who will bend the rules a bit. Hagler himself, however, has been known to throw a few elbows and use his head to good advantage. So this did not figure to be a very polite battle.
Hamsho, a very strong fighter. Hagler had expected that. Flipping the right hand from Hamsho. Countering with one of his own by Hagler.
Well, Hagler cannot miss with that right jab. Every time he throws that punch, it's landing.
He has made contact with it with great regularity, that is for sure. You see Hamsho's style, he just tries to cover up, kind of wade in. But those good quick feet of Hagler have stayed away from him for the most part here.
And the wild card here is how well Hagler is slipping punches. Hamsho's throwing the same kind of punches that would land against other middleweights. They're not getting there against Hagler. And when they do, they're not having that much of an impact.
You see the time left in round 6, under 30 seconds. The champion, marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I guess that little emphasis on just exactly what this man has done certainly has been well documented with the success he has enjoyed as a middleweight champion. And he continues to show well as we close in on the end of round number 6 here at the Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois. Back in round 6, Hamsho took some more punishment, Al Bernstein, from Hagler, and he does possess that sharp left.
Both fighters have been landing the left hand pretty well, and Hagler's has had more steam on it. And Hamsho trying to work on the inside in this fight, but as we saw, Hagler has nullified him there.
You see the work going on into the corner. Mustafa Hamsho again was cut early in this fight back in the 4th. They have been well controlled as we get ready for the start of round 7. Middleweight title fight here in the Horizon near Chicago.
There's Al Braverman working on those cuts and giving Hamsho a slap on the rear and saying, get out there. Well, he is, but what he meets once he gets out there is pretty awesome.
Many thought that Marvin Hagler, of course, would have been the champion even earlier than indeed he won it over Alan Minter. But again, now many are saying who can beat this man in the middleweight, and the #1 contender, Hamsho, not out of the fight, but certainly taking a punishment from the champion. There's that flipping right-hand jab that he, as you said, has scored with almost all night.
And Hamsho, who has himself a heavy jab, it's not a real quick jab, has never been able to get that punch in this fight, and it's hurt him. Oh, another good right hook by Hagler, and there's the combination punching.
Hagler is seeming to starting to say, I've got to get more aggressive here, even though he has danced and weaved and bobbed and picked his punches. Now he starts to go to work. Hamsho is trying to counter, however, with a little offense of his own again.
For all the punches Hagler has landed so far in this fight, and they've been many, he has never rocked Hamsho, and I think that's what he wants to see if he can do.
You see about the 1.5 to 2 feet directly in front of the ropes have been used very little tonight. They have used almost the center of the ring exclusively in this fight.
And that is to the detriment of Hamsho. He would have loved to have gotten Hagler on the ropes where he could bang the body and slow him down a little bit. Hasn't been able to do it. It's too simple to reduce it to this, but this has been a battle largely of right hooks. Hagler has thrown in his own jab, of course, very effectively, but the one punch both fighters have been able to land a lot of the right hook, and it's been Hagler's, however, that has been more effective.
There's a wild left hand by Hamsho, glancing off the shoulder of the champion, Marvin Hagler.
And there's that right hook down to the body by Hagler. He's worked that body well. There's one to the head, so again, the right hand landing.
I would say early in Hagler's career, he probably did not go to the body enough on a lot of fighters, just tried to go over the top, but he's starting to pick up more and more of that out.
Become a much better body puncher and is more committed to that work, and of course it has made him just that much better fighter.
So as we have 30 seconds to go in round number 7. Marvin Hagler with that flipping right jab. You see Hamsho came in with a pretty good straight right that time. Under 15 seconds to go in round 7. Middleweight set to go 15 here tonight. Straight right by Hagler. He followed it with another straight right. And there's the showmanship again of Hamsho just kind of sticking his tongue at it. And I got to believe Hagler's not too fond of that at all. At all.
Well, you know, the sticking your tongue out doesn't win you any points with the judges. You have to punch. So in that sense, I guess it doesn't help Hamsho very much, but he wants to indicate he's not hurt.
quite a graphic there in the 57 fights. The duration in average have been 5.7 rounds. So as you can see, fighting here in the 7th round, heading for number 8, Hamsho may be on some borrowed time.
Well, there's the good right by Hagler. Fighting as a right-hander now for a moment. It's mostly been southpaw. He lands that good straight right. And we'll take a look at some action from yet another angle, the Australian angle, down under. Good right hook. And that's the punch that, above all, Hagler has landed in this fight, and I think it's the one that has had the most power.
Hagler has always been one of those guys with a tremendous hand speed. He kind of backed off after getting the first right in, hit with another right. Hamsho was rocked, and then you saw about 3 or 4 straight punches by Hagler, really throwing a good combination on Hamsho. He took the effects of it, and is right back out as we answer the bell for round 8 and comes out with a flurry.
What big overhand right by Hagler, almost a wild punch, uncharacteristic. You know, this fight is so indicative of the way Hagler works. It's a workmanlike effort. Might not be that flashy, but it's so effective. And Hamsho beckons to Hagler to come to him, much as Estafire did in their first fight when Hagler wound up with that draw before winning the title.
Hamsho for a moment was just trying to be a little outfighting with Hagler, which would be to Hagler's advantage. Hamsho wanting to get in close, wanting to try to tie him up, wanting to try to hit on the body. Hagler dancing away from much of it, though.
There isn't much that Marvin Hagler hasn't done effectively in this fight. There was a good left uppercut, and he is slipping Hamsho's punches so well. Look at that.
Oh, my.
Punch combination. Wow.
Nearing the halfway part of round number 8. Middleweight champion Marvin Hagler, Brockton, Massachusetts.
It's the home of another former champion, Rocky Marciano, the great heavyweight champion.
There is one great part of boxing as you watch 2 fine middleweights do it here. I guess you could almost argue for hours upon hours who was the finest at each of the divisions, and you would probably get a different answer from about 100 different people.
Well, that's for sure. And for Marvin Hagler, as he continues to wade through middleweight opponents, maybe somewhere in his mind is where will his place be in history among the middleweights, and of course that is still up for debate.
I think that's a great thing about the boxing game, is that so many young fighters continue to come onto the scene, and there's so much, maybe even better trained and better coached, and certainly the stamina of these young men is certainly unparalleled, maybe even to some of those legendary greats of the past.
Well, that's, of course, that's the ultimate debate and argument.
Absolutely.
What fuels boxing. And for Marvin Hagler, as he continues to dominate Mustafa Hamsho, he is showing in this fight that he has skills that place him certainly above his contemporary middleweights.
Closing in on the end of round 8. Of course, those that go back into boxing remember those legendary fights. They would fight till literally a finish, round upon round upon round. Of course, there is so much talk on what has to be done to continue to strengthen boxing and to protect the safety of the boxers, either to shorten the fights, some more protective headgear, etc., etc. And, of course, that is always enough to stimulate, I'm sure, a little discussion from time to time, wherever you might be, as we look at Mustafa Hamsho's corner.
You're not doing that good. Close your eyes. Give me a towel. Get the towel. Close. Close. Keep it close. You hurt him there with one left hand, but you never follow up in the belly. You're not the same. What the hell's the matter, Mustafa? Huh? What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? Gotta be something. You're waiting on him. What are you waiting on him? Don't look there. Look at me. Step in. If you want me to stop, I go and stop it. You want me to stop it? Well, then, goddamn it, go after your mother's crying. Well, then, go ahead. You want her to cry? Your mother's here and everything. Then show me. Show her. Yell a dog. Yell a dog is out here.
I don't think there was much more we can say rather than what they're trying to do in psychologically getting Hamsho into the fight here as we get ready as the bell sounds for round 9.
Al Braverman and Patty Flood in there. Braverman in the ring and Flood outside it. And they are trying to motivate Mustafa Hamsho. He is coming out like a tiger.
So far, so good. Marvin Hagler, the defending champion in the middleweight division. #1 contender, Mustafa Hamsho.
Now here, when he's on the inside, is where Hamsho has to work, and he's trying, but Hagler uses his superior foot speed to get away.
Ever-pleasant flipping jab, just keeping Hamsho at bay. Lunges in. Hagler caught him with a right to the side of the face.
One of the things Hagler's doing well is pushing Hamsho off when he gets on the inside, and it's preventing Hamsho from getting his rhythm.
Fight has started to slow somewhat into a waltz here as we're now in the ninth. Each fighter waiting for just exactly the right opportunity. Almost halfway through round 9. Hamsho coming with a good straight right, but right behind it, Hagler followed with a right of his own and a left uppercut for it.
You know, as you watch this fight, it isn't even that Hamsho is fighting so poorly. I think it's that Hagler is fighting so well. Hamsho is doing some of the things that got him to the #1 ranking in this title shot, but it has not been able to be as consistent an effort, largely because of what Hagler's doing.
Al, I'm sure that the point has already been passed for Hamsho in particular, as we have 1 minute to go here in round 9. When do they start diverting totally from the game plan they had in mind and just trying to pick and choose of what they can get done?
Well, I think there's only one way for Mustafa Hamsho to fight Hagler, and that is for him to get inside where he can maul and brawl and exchange punches and keep pressure on him. The problem is he hasn't been able to get there. And one thing he needs to do is give more head movement to Hagler as he's coming in to avoid that jab so he can get in low and start working away. And he tried to do it right there.
Again, we cannot give enough credit as you see the exchange of punches here to, of course, that corner of Hamsho. They have closed those cuts, even though he is bleeding now about the right eye. They've closed them very well since the 4th round. 15 seconds to go, round 9. Good shot right by Hagler again on the side of the face. So Marvin Hagler, the champion of the middleweight. Mustafa Hamsho battled out to the end of round 9. Excellent look at the champion. Marvin Hagler comes rolling out of his corner to answer the bell in round 10. Sam Smith along with Al Bernstein with a call of this middleweight title fight. Hamsho coming out with his green trunks, trying to challenge, but now in the 10th round, Hagler has really fought his fight up to this point.
And already in this round, you can see that the blood starting to trickle out of the right eye of Hamsho, getting tougher and tougher for them to keep those cuts from bleeding. Oh, the jab of Hagler. I would say that in this fight, the right jab of Marvin Hagler has been better than in any other fight to this point that he's fought as a pro. It's been amazing.
And the percentage of contact on that has got to be well into the 60-70% of the time.
Easily.
If not more. He has been somewhat content. Oh, he catches him with a good flush left to the head that time. I was just about to say he hadn't followed that right jab that much other than when he gets in that quick combination. At that time, he kind of faked the right jab and caught him with a left.
You know, Marvin Hagler is a good puncher. He's not a devastating puncher. And this fight is an indication of that, even though Hamsho takes a very good punch. But it's the cumulative nature of the punches with Hagler that gets to his opponent. He just lands so many, and they are hard. He's not a one-punch knockout artist.
Halfway through round number 10. Marvin Hagler, you see the tremendous condition of that back muscles of Hagler as he had his back to it.
And he's landing combinations.
Really. Left and right. You can hear the crowd as they start to get into it here at the Horizon. They sense something in round 10. Hagler, the champion, with his defense tonight. Hamsho, the #1 contender.
This is a clinic by Marvin Hagler. It really is. He's done so much right in this fight that you can understand his claim, and indeed it's a legitimate one, as the best middleweight around and one of the best of the last couple of decades.
You know, one of the things, Al, we were talking about what might have been the best boxer in each of the divisions. Marvin Hagler is Marvin Hagler. You don't see a lot of style that he has stolen or more or less tried to duplicate from a lot of other fighters. He is definitely Marvin Hagler.
He is indeed. He's a good stand-up fighter. He switches from time to time, and a very orthodox kind of fighter in many ways. If there's a criticism of Hagler, it is that he tends to throw punches with his arms a little bit more than with his entire body, which I think is part of what diminishes his power a little bit. But other than that, his style is really well honed.
Under 20 seconds to go here in round number 10. The champion, Marvin Hagler, starting to measure well. Mustafa Hamsho, who still continues to kind of stick his tongue out from time to time. Kind of taunting the champion as he goes back into his corner.
Boy, what does that man have to smile about? I don't know.
You saw the graphic that Hamsho has never gone past 10. Has not fought past 10 anyway. As again, Marvin Hagler has taken the measure of Hamsho. Here's a replay.
The action of that last round was the best for Hagler maybe in this entire fight. He landed big, heavy shots. And like that right hook that he just landed right there, he was really setting down his punches and landing them well. And a different angle shows you that same action there. He literally flew off the canvas with that right hook, a la Floyd Patterson throwing a left hook in his days.
Now you see only 3 of his 56 opponents have lasted more than 10 rounds.
It's an immoral victory for Mustafa Hamsho, I guess.
You see a very tired Mustafa Hamsho. He has indeed taken the punishment from the champion, Marvin Hagler, here tonight.
And you can see the cuts over his eyes. They are deep.
But again, they have been covered up well since the 4th round when almost they were ready to stop this fight. And now they come out to answer the bell in the 11th round. Hagler going right to work.
And that right hook of Hagler, he understands that punch, he can land it now almost when he wants to. And if he really throws that punch hard with a lot of authority, I think he feels he might be able to take Hamsho out.
Hamsho just starting to lunge with punches now. When they do land, they obviously will have a little steam, but Hagler just left and right, left and right. There's another right, another left. Going to the body, trying to set up something upstairs. Hamsho gamely fighting back. This is about the closest they have been to the ropes all night tonight, here in the 11th.
And Hamsho imagined that he would be the one backing Hagler into the ropes. It's been the other way around. The uppercuts from Hagler working so effectively. Look at that on the inside. What hand speed.
The boxing clinic is on. Hagler taking the measure of Hamsho. Hamsho, big heart, trying to fight back here. Nearing the halfway part of round 11. The horizon really buzzing with what has transpired, particularly in the 10th and 11th rounds. Settling quietly into their seats for the moment as they stand and glare for the most part. You see the blood oozing both left, right eyes. Hamsho. Hamsho just extending that right hand, and Hagler's coming, following it with a right of his own. Another right, another left. The uppercut catches him. Going to the body. Hamsho almost defenseless. Another right to the head. Hamsho's in real trouble now. He comes off the rope. Hagler hits him left, right. Hamsho almost defenseless, and the referee knows it. He stops the fight, and Hagler has defended his middleweight title fight here at the Horizon in Rosemont. And the crowd loves it as marvelous Marvin Hagler has successfully staved off Mustafa Hamsho and gets his congratulations here. A technical knockout coming here in the 11th, stopped by the referee, and Marvin Hagler is still the middleweight champion of the world. Well, Al Bernstein, after watching that super bout, of course, it appeared that marvelous Marvin Hagler, we know how well he can fight, but he certainly proved that he can box and box with the best of them.
Well, against Mustafa Hamsho, I don't think anyone expected it to be quite that one-sided, but Hagler was just superb that night. And this may have been Marvin Hagler at his best. He showed us his boxing skills. He showed us his punching power. Even though Hamsho was never terribly hurt in that fight and didn't go down, of course, those terrible cuts were an indication of just how well Hagler can punch. And for Marvin Hagler, this was a clinic on boxing.
Well, with these two fights in 1981, many were feeling that the dominance of Marvin Hagler was certainly there in the middleweights.
Well, he went on, of course, with a reign of terror through that division after that. And this was the period when I think people started wondering whether he was beatable at all. And certainly no middleweights at that time were capable of beating Marvin Hagler, and he was etching his name in history as one of the best middleweights.
What was his attitude as he was starting to win and starting to get this notoriety? Good, I guess.
Well, he felt, of course, it was long overdue. He had had well over 50 professional fights at this time, had beaten the best in the East before he got to be champion. And so Marvin Hagler felt, yes, I'm finally getting my due. But it's a situation where I think during his career, he always felt that he needed that extra motivation, and that's what he had in this case.
Well, 2 wins by marvelous Marvin.